Hi students, a very warm welcome to all of you. This is OSN Academy of English Literature since 1998 and I am Dr. Anurag Agarwal, Professor in English, and a very warm welcome to this new episode, that is Crash Course. Students, why do we study Crash Course? The reason is that after a prolonged studies of so many months, which becomes so tiring sometimes, going through the videos, going through the innumerable books and the study notes, sometimes we feel that I should get something which is very crispy, which is something to the point, and which is something very net centric. In my past 22 years of teaching UGC NET, I have always felt this thing that students genuinely need a crash course, and a crash course which has quality and experience. So today it is a blessing for all of you, my students, and I'm also happy that all over India students gave a very overwhelming response to study and try to qualify May exam. And my dear students, if you just follow my guidance for the next 2 months, whatever I say, you will believe that once you go to the examination hall, you will be burning with energy, and when you will see the questions, you will automatically understand that, sir, yes, so many questions came from the teachings which you had done for 2 months. जो मेहनत हम करने जा रहे हैं, उस मेहनत पे रिस्पॉन्स जरूर करिएगा और उतनी ही मेहनत करिएगा कि हमारी मेहनत वसूल हो जाए बच्चों. Fine. So, not to take much of our time, we have 1 hour. Now I am going to start this crash course, which I will divide it according to my experience, and I will try to give you daily inputs of sometimes a chronological affair from the 14th century to the postmodern. Why? Because I have seen that mostly the questions which are coming from the history of English literature, that is British literature, the students are weak. And apart from the British literature, the other literatures or the other units will be taught in pointers, in those one-liners where you will be able to understand that what is net eccentricism. So let us start with the day first, and once again a hearty welcome to all of you. See students, keep a pen and diary. I will start with the 14th century British literature, but all these things will be very in the nutshell, so that you have a proper knowledge chronologically, but in a very fast manner. Fine. Now, see, the first question to you students is that you have to tell what are the historical events of the 14th century. इस 14th century का जो historical events वो क्या होता है? So immediately you should answer that it is known for the 100 years war with France. It is known for Black Death. It is known for the beginning of the Lollard movement. It is known for the Peasants Revolt of 1381. And yes, the English was used for the schools, for the law and the courts, and even the churches. Fine. And apart from this, you have also to understand the characteristics, the chief features of the age of Chaucer. As far as Chaucer's age is concerned, students, we saw a lot of, the rise of the middle of the national consciousness. We saw the decline of the feudal system, the rise of the middle class. Because the rise of the middle class, we saw the progress of trade, and a lot of important contemporaries of Chaucer like William Langland, John Mandeville, Gower, and even Wycliffe. Now, there was a remark that Chaucer is a poet who is understood to be in same relation as Pope is taken to be of the 18th century, or Tennyson is taken to be a poet of the Victorian era. Yes, it is true that they all are poets of their own centuries. Why? Because they highlight, they are getting the temper of the age, the spirit of the age. And the poetry of Chaucer reflects the political, the social, the economical, and the contemporary churches, the religious sections, and in a very realistic manner. Apart from this, there is a term known as Lollard movement. What is Lollard movement? John Wycliffe and his followers, who used to go here and there and spread the true Christianity, contending against the papal vice regency of the Christ, and they used to go to here and there places, that they are known as Lollards, and because of this movement, that movement is known as the Lollard movement. Fine. There is a very important work, the contemporary work, which is known as Piers the Plowman. Piers the Plowman by William Langland, which is a great work in the allegorical mode. Now, if you talk about the contemporary churches, the religious people, the teachings of the gospel, and the popular opinion of the people, basically they were doubting. Why? Because a lot of indiscrepancies used to be seen in the churches. Then we have a very important episode known as the Peasants Revolt. What is the Peasants Revolt, students? The reason is that there was a ruling class, and the people were very much dissatisfied with the ruling class, and because of the corruption of the clergies, the people stormed London, and that time it was led by Tyler. मैं टाइलर की स्पेलिंग यहां लिख देता हूं, Tyler. It was led by Tyler, and even Straw, and even John Hall. So this was a condition when the Peasants Revolt took place. And there is a term for all the beginners, even it is a crash course. I will not leave any stone unturned for giving you those important terms which has to be known by you, and that is Black Death. धीरे धीरे हम लोग स्टेप आगे बढ़ाएंगे. इनिशियली आज पहला लेक्चर है, so let me make your base very strong in the crash course movement. See, जब Black Death आया, basically it ravaged England during the year 1348 and 1349. It was a plague epidemic which caused the Black Death. And why it is known as the Black Death? Because पूरे शरीर में black boils हो जाते हैं. The people got the black boils, and that was the cause of the death, which shattered completely the social, the economical, and the structure of the contemporary England. It is also known as Black Death because it was more terrible than death. मतलब death से ज़्यादा ये terrible था, और लगभग half of the population खत्म हो गई. Fine. So यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने देखिए इतनी कम समय में इसको कहते हैं crash course, that I have left nothing in making you describe about the 14th century. Now we move towards the 14th century at a later stage. थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ते हैं, and here you will find a great author known as Wycliffe. And this Wycliffe was born in 1328, who was a religious reformer, and he is also known as a translator of the Bible. He was also a very popular teacher at Oxford. And the point which has to be noted down here is that he was against the ecclesiastical court. He is also popularly known as the founder of the English prose. And apart from that, students, that इसके साथ एक ऑथर है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, जिसका नाम है John Gower. Yes, he came from a very Kentish family. He came from a Kentish family, and don't forget that Chaucer has dedicated his, मैं लिख भी देता हूं TNS, मैं शॉर्ट में लिख देता हूं to save the time. Chaucer has dedicated his Troilus in Cressida to John Gower, and the best works known by, or we can say for John Gower, जिसके लिए जाना जाता है, that is Confessio Amantis, Vox Clementis, Speculum Medantis. Confessio Amantis जिसको इंग्लिश में कहते हैं Confession of a Lover इंग्लिश में, and some of them have been the dream allegories in which the poet symbolically presents the Peasants Revolt of 1381. And this poem by John Gower, that is ये Vox Clementis की हम बात करें, so ये Vox Clementis जो poem है, इसने बहुत influence किया किसको? रस्किन को influence किया a lot. And Confessio Amantis is a poem of 8 books. याद रखिएगा, यहां लिख देता हूं, Confessio Amantis is a poem or is a book of, is a collection of 8 books. And this Confessio Amantis satirizes the corruption of the church, and it is written in, again write it down, short octosyllabic couplets. ये पूछा भी जाता है एग्जाम में, that this Confessio Amantis is written in short octosyllabic couplets. Fine.